and we can get kicked off. All right, so welcome everyone. We're a small group, but hopefully a few people will jump in as we go. I want to thank Jade for running the session last time. I was obviously overseas away on a bit of a holiday. Today, Jade's actually not with us. She is hiking around, having a bit of a relaxing day. So she's having a lot of fun and on a well-earned break. So today's agenda, we'll just quickly go through and do a welcome for new members, a quick round the group update on what's happening. Then I've got something fun, a surprise. Then Kim is going to do a demo of Mastery Paths for us. And then there's a couple of things to talk about for CanvasCon, including a pre-catch-up, post-catch-up, and some things on the community panel. So, do we have any new members? I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Michael is the Michael from UTS. Sorry? Okay, no good. So that is my Michael. Awesome. Okay, we can skip over that. Sorry, everyone. Wasn't sure. Does anyone want to talk about anything they're currently doing? Any issues they're currently facing? Anything that's on your radar? No?
No, I don't think we've got anything.
Okay, we've got something in chat. No, not from Greg. Okay, perfect. Okay, so something fun, a surprise. Give me a second and I will share a new screen with you.
We'll make that full screen.
Sorry. That one?
No, but
So this is a bit of a fun one. Adam Williams, who's one of the community managers, has done a piece with Jade, which I'd highly recommend you have a bit of a look at. I'll link it to you all in the chat. A really interesting piece on Jade, just asking about where she's from, how she got there. Obviously, most of you will have seen her face before. I was surprised that she started her first job at 14 and was getting paid in not only dollars, but caramel fudge. So I'm sure we can all appreciate that that would be lovely. But have a look. So it really goes through some interesting things about where Jade's come from, some of the stuff that she absolutely loves in the Canvas community. And it's a really great piece. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to share it out more widely through CanvasCon because she's done some great work and she's been really active in the community. And I have to say, at the very end of the article, would you like to raise awareness around anything? And something that I thought was really powerful that she said is, for everyone reading this post, go and find an unanswered or unresolved question and see if you can answer it. Just jump in. So really, advocating for people to get into the community. So feel free to jump on, give her a little shout. If you add her in any replies, her inbox will fill up with lovely messages. So that was a really nice piece that was just released about 15 minutes ago. Alrighty, so I'm going to hand over to Kim to do a bit of a demo of Mastery Paths. So Kim, feel free to share your screen and that'll just take over mine.
That one? Yeah. Okay.
we'll pick your
Browser. Share screen and bring the browser up. And that's it. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'm just wondering if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. I've been looking at Mastery Paths and what you can do with it. So this is actually just a very quick example as a student. What I've done is I've set it up as a very simple course on algebra because that's what I used to be a teacher of. So what I'm just going to do is work through it really quickly because it is really quick and it gives you a bit of an idea how it works. So this is the student view and if you look at what's in the course, it says start the course, watch a video tutorial, do a bit of reading and then do a pre-assessment quiz. When you do that pre-assessment quiz, you can get a score and that score you then say if you're very poor you might go down a remedial type path. If you're reasonably good, it'll send you down maybe the normal path. And if you're really good, you can jump through and bypass everything, go straight to the advanced path. So there's 3 paths, but they're actually hidden. So here, when I click on phase 2, as I've called it, and that could be called anything else, they're hidden. So just to give you a bit of an idea of what's in there, I'll work through it really quickly and won't go into too much detail on the content. Now, where's my next button?
When you scroll down.
It's not showing. Hold on. I'm just, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I might have to.
Just see the, do it full screen.
Yep.
And now come in here and
Get
go
that.
up. We'll just go up and go. If you
Oh, that's okay.
get that.
All right. Yeah, there. Okay. So for those of you that you remember your high school mathematics, just introduction, do you know how to expand brackets like x plus y squared or a plus b to the fifth? By the end of this course, you'll be able to do it. So we go through, and the next screen is a video which I've found on the internet just showing you how to expand brackets. I'll jump past that. Then I've said there is a document which you open up and look at a bit of extra content from the UK. I think this document was about expanding brackets. So this is all high school maths. Then I'm going to go on to the quiz. Now the quiz, damn, I've logged in as the wrong person. My apologies. I might be all right. Okay. I didn't think I'd logged on as this person. Once you've done this quiz, you can't go back and do it. The pre-assessment quiz is basically there to decide if you really know your stuff. And in this case, I've just tried to keep it simple by making it one question. So I'm not very good at my maths, so I'll say a plus b cubed is, does anyone know the correct answer, by the way? Anyway, it's not A, so I'm going to put A. And then I click submit quiz. Yeah, it's probably, I think it's D. So that means I'm not very good at it. And when I click on my next button, it says you got that incorrect. It's now leading me down a mastery path, which, when it comes up, opens up phase 2 and allows me to do stream 1, which is the fairly basic stuff. So rather than look at the content, I jump through, look at the readings or the learning, the video, and then I'm going to jump to that quiz, right? So imagine I've done a bit of learning. I'm now going to take this quiz, and this quiz asks me something at the lower end of expanding brackets. When you multiply out A times A plus B, what's the correct answer? Now I better get it right this time to prove that I've learnt something. So what is it? A squared plus AB, which is C. So I'm going to click C, click on submit quiz. And now it's going to ask me another question. Oh no, that's the right answer, sorry. So I've got it correct. Now when I click next, it jumps through and you'll see a bit more content opens, and that's what I've called stream 2. So stream 1, you remember that was the basic level. Stream 2 is we've learned a bit more and we're ready to move on to the next bit of learning. And again, I'll do this quickly, skip through it. Imagine you've learnt a bit more about expanding the brackets. So I'm going to jump straight through to the assessment here and take the quiz. It's getting a bit harder this time. And which of these is correct? Oh, I better get this right. So now we're right up to expanding out A plus B squared. Everyone, of course, knows that that is D, don't they? Do the submit quiz. I hope that's right. I designed this. And then it says correct, hopefully. Yes, now I click next. And another set of content has opened up. Again, this has gone straight into the readings. It hadn't gone back to that other format. Now it's gone straight into the next reading. I'm going to click read that and click next. Have I done that? Next. And actually, what I'll do is I'll just go back to the modules just to show you where we're up to, because I'm not sure why I jumped through to that screen, but you'll see stream 3 has opened up, okay? And the quiz here is what I was led through to, and we're now going to do that, stream 3 quiz, and take the quiz. This one is, I think, just one question. For those that know your algebra, A plus B cubed is D. So I've learnt that, and then I'm going to expand out another one which is very similar, and this one I think is C. I hope that's right, yep. Then submit this quiz, and hopefully I get 100%, and go next. And this now will lead me to the main assessment. So I've done my Mastery Path course, I've gone through the whole way and got to the main quiz, and just again jumping back out to the modules and looking at this view, you've got phase 1, phase 2. Now phase 3 is this main assessment quiz, so I'm going to quickly do this. This is main assessment. Take the quiz and it's coming up. This one is 5 questions, so you'll see 5, and I've made it, being an ex-math teacher, really simple questions, so I at least get 1 mark. DA plus DB is that one, which is A. Question 2, M plus N squared is M squared plus 2MN, so that's C. Question 3 is A cubed plus, I think that's the right one, C. Oops, C. Question 4, I'm actually going to get that one incorrect. That's getting a bit more complicated. So I'm going to submit this quiz, see how I go. And it says that I got those 2 correct, others wrong. When I click next, it jumps straight to some further reading. Now, I'll explain how this works. It needs some instructions at the start, but I'm just going to jump back to modules again. And basically, what I've now got is start the course at the start in phase 1. I've got stream 1, stream 2, stream 3, main assessment quiz. And you say, why have I got this further reading? It's because in my instructions, what I've allowed you to do is to do a bit more reading and try and get a higher score. And this is part of what you can set up with Mastery Paths. It's not strictly the main learning part, but it is possible to use Mastery Paths. And the way I've done it here is said, if you just get 3 out of 5, I've said that's a pass. So it opens up this document here, which is basically saying, if I click on it, you have, well done, you've completed this Mastery course, you've achieved a pass. And you say, well, I want a higher score. So what you can do is go back, do your further reading, which is here. The further reading was something I know Mark is interested in Fibonacci numbers. Further reading teaches you a bit about expanding brackets, and then you can go and do the quiz again. Whoops, I meant to go backwards there. Previous. So the navigation is not perfect here. You still need to tell them, look, you can have another go at the quiz. But if I want to have another go at the quiz now, I can't, because I don't think I've actually allowed you to repeat it. And that's, oops, I haven't set this up correctly, but basically, if you let them do the quiz more than once, they can get a higher score. And this isn't the example I thought it was, but what happens then is that a new page down here opens up that says course completion with a distinction. So that last bit I haven't quite got right. I thought I had got it right. But that's basically how Mastery Paths works. So most of what you can see there is what the student will see. So I've gone right through as a student. I'll quickly log out and log back in as the teacher. Just to give you a slightly different view of it. So this is the teacher view, and you'll see it's all there, and you'll see, just proving that the course completion with the distinction is down the bottom there. You'll notice there's, without going into the full usage of how it goes, but you'll see on the right-hand side it's got Mastery Paths in blue, and it's also got little point scores. Basically, you can go into the pre-assessment quiz, and you say, look, what do I want the scores to be that sends you into stream 1 or stream 2 or stream 3? And the beauty is that if you say for the pre-assessment quiz, if they get full marks, which in this case would be 1 out of 1, I think it is, full marks, then they can be led straight to stream 3. So what you can do with the pre-assessment quiz here is say, they already know most of this stuff, let's let them go straight through to stream 3, or even you could send them straight through to the main quiz, but send them straight to stream 3. So this opens up straight away, the stream 3 readings and quiz. They just do that, and then they can bypass all of stream 1 and stream 2 and go right through. I can just show you a couple more things here. You can set those scores. So if I click on Mastery Paths for the stream 1 quiz, for example, just to give you a bit of an idea of what it looks like. Here is when you finish the stream 1 quiz, it says if you get a score of above 0.7 or up to 1, you must do stream 2 reading, stream 2 activity, and stream 2 quiz. The and means you're supposed to do all of them. You can actually have or as well. You can change that to or instead of and. So in theory, it means you can actually just do one of the things. The reason that's 0.7, I could make it 1, but it means there's a definite cutoff if you've got quizzes out of, say, 1 or 2 or 3 marks. If it was a test out of 20, then you wouldn't need such odd scores. So I'll just go back and show you what this looks like for the main assessment. Sorry, no, the pre-assessment quiz. So let's look at this one. And this will give you an idea of how it works as well. This test or quiz is out of 2 marks. And you'll see that if you get 0, it makes you do stream 1 and then the quiz at the end. If you get between 0.1, which is just above 0, and 1 and less than 2, basically that's a way of saying that, you can go straight to stream 2, and if you get more than that, you go straight to stream 3. So there is only 3 paths in Mastery Paths. You can't have more than as far as I'm aware. You can only have 3, but as you saw in the last one, you can jump just to 1 path. That's most of it. I'll just quickly click back into my modules. The way that you choose those paths at the end here, just showing how this worked. This was the final assessment. Final assessment, if you got 0, you didn't get much at all, you had to repeat it until you, which I accidentally turned off the ability to redo the quiz, or the test. If you get between 2 and 3.5 out of 5, you get a course completion where the pass page opens up, but you also get the further reading, and the instructions here, which I probably need to add in, is that it would say, look, if you have another go at this, do the further reading, you can then redo the quiz and end up with a distinction by getting full marks, or 4 out of 5, I think I've set it up. So in general, that's it for Mastery Paths. I'll probably hand it back to Stuart, unless I'm not sure I can hear if anyone's got any questions. Yeah. So do you want to take that back over, Stuart?
I can, but can I ask a question first?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
How have you found the complexity of setting up Mastery Paths in comparison with Blackboard, if you've done that previously on Blackboard for...
I never used Blackboard, but I happen to have done a fair bit of learning paths in Moodle. I think what's it called there? They call it scenario-based learning, or they call it a lesson in Moodle. I'd say this is about the same complexity as the lesson. The lesson in Moodle's got a little bit more pathing, but the hardest thing I found with this, once I had got the hang of it, because it took probably a couple of hours to really understand, firstly, technically how it worked, and then after that, the hardest thing was actually to think up scenarios where you had these 3 levels of learning. That, in the end, was actually the harder part than the technical side of it. So I think it's got some benefit in terms of, particularly, I guess it fits in the field of adaptive learning. If you say, look, if you're not very good at this, we'll give you some remedial stuff. If you're brilliant at it, we'll let you bypass it. So the idea of the 3 paths is quite neat, but it is restricted to 3. So, yeah. So I can't comment about Blackboard, sorry.
No worries, that's okay. And Greg had a question. Have you had much take up from staff yet?
Just running I'm about to run a first workshop based on what I've just shown you. So you were the first trial people. I'm running a workshop with some of our staff on Monday. Some academics are very keen to see what it does and see how it's used. So it was really important that I felt that I put a subject area that I was comfortable with, like some algebra, mathematics stuff, to make it a bit more meaningful. But it'll be interesting to see what the feedback's like on Monday.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any questions for Kim? No? Alrighty. I will jump back in and share my screen again.
Okay.
Alrighty. CanvasCon, as you all know, coming up in the very near future, we have CanvasCon running here in Sydney. I know we've got a couple of people from Adelaide coming. I know Bobby's coming, so Bobby Peterson from Tasmania, who's online as well, will be joining myself and Jade and Barrett for the community panel again this year. So fantastic to have Bobby on board. So one of the things I wanted to ask, and I will also give everyone a link to this, let me just grab this and pop it in the chat. So for the community panel this year, we're wanting to run something that is a little more interactive than last year. So we're looking at some tools that we can do some better real-time interaction with everyone while we're actually running the community panel. So what I've put together in the link that I've just sent through in chat is we'd like to really know what questions you'd like to ask of the panel. There will obviously be an opportunity to ask these on the day, but equally, are there any questions that you would like to ask the community that we can put together? And so what we'll actually have is we'll have up on the screen a particular tool. The name has temporarily escaped me. Where all you have to do is go there on your phone, don't have to install anything, and you can do some voting and surveying as we're actually doing the panel. So if there's any, thank you, Bobby, Mentimeter. So on menti.com. So if there's any questions that you've wanted to ask, and so one of the things that I've sort of been discussing and that I'm currently playing with Mentimeter for is asking of the people in the room we have at the conference in Sydney, what sort of, do we have K to 6? Do we have 7 to 12? Do we have higher ed? And finding out where people are from, that sort of thing, to find out a bit more of the dynamics in the room. But equally, if there are any questions you want to ask and you'd like to get kind of a survey response from people, please put them in here. And what we'll actually do is go through and definitely, as Bobby's just said, matchmaking opportunities. Really what we're trying to do is probably not from a dating perspective, but certainly from getting knowledge and getting people to meet new people in the community. So any questions that you have, any ideas that you have for that you'd like to share, either drop an email to me or if possible, pop it in that link that I've just sent out in the community. And we'll take that on board as we're preparing how we're actually going to run the community panel this year. The only other thing I'd say is Jacob has posted equally on that same, I've linked to it on that same post, a CanvasCon networking on Monday night. So anyone that's coming in on Monday that would like to catch up, I'm going to try and be there myself. So please jump into that thread as well, and we can possibly catch up Monday. And I know there's going to be a drinks running on Tuesday night like we did last year. So that's everything from me. I'm happy to open it to the floor for anything anyone would like to discuss. Is there anything anyone would like to throw out?
I'll start here in Adelaide. It's Mark from Adelaide. We demonstrated a product called Splat, which is self-peer learning assessment tool that we've developed here at Adelaide for Canvas as an LTI. We're going to make that open source. A couple of people have already contacted us about it with interest in that. We've already done the development work to open source it, and we will put it up into GitHub in the next couple of weeks with some documentation about how it all works. So if anybody is interested, they can contact me and I can give them the URL to the GitHub repository. I will probably put it up in the in the group when we've got it already, so you can find it there as well.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Yeah, sorry, it's Greg here. Listen, I'm just interested, has anyone had any, or whether they've set it up yet, have they put in Badger, or is anyone interested or anyone doing anything with H5P in terms of LTIs?
Yeah, Kim here again. I've been dabbling in a bit of H5P for a few years now, and quite interested to see when it's going to be put in as a LTI into Canvas. Had a demonstration from another university here where they've put it into Moodle, and it actually does. What was interesting for me is that the H5P quizzes and stuff do go into the grade book if it's got the LTI, which I found quite interesting. So yeah, it's got a lot of tools. I think it's very user friendly for academics or lecturers in terms of developing stuff. And it's the latest sort of technology in terms of HTML5. So I guess personally I'm a bit of a fan of it and like the idea that it's fairly straightforward for academics. And one of the really good features I've seen in it is the interactive video. If you get a video from, say, YouTube, you can overlay H5P and make that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm keen if you want to email or contact me and yeah, discuss it a bit further.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, we've got H5P in Canvas now as an LTI through h5p.com, which is the commercial arm of it. And they've just recently changed their pricing, I suppose, to make it a little bit more accessible, shall we say. So if anyone's interested, I'll be down at CanvasCon, but if anyone's interested in seeing how it all hooks up, it is great, actually. You're right, it really is good. You know, hotspots and that sort of stuff. It takes, you know, the quizzing idea to the next level. So if anyone else wants some information about it, I'll be down at CanvasCon. Thanks.
That'd be fantastic, Greg. I know Moen from here at UTS would be very interested to have a chat with you on that. I know we've been looking at H5P. We haven't looked at h5p.com yet, but that's something we've actually been discussing. And we're looking at badging at the moment and looking at Badger. So I will put you in contact. I'll get him to contact you if you can leave an email address or drop me an email. Then I'll certainly put you in contact because I know he'd love to have a chat. Excellent. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for coming along. And I think everyone can have a bit of an early mark this afternoon. It's a Friday. Everyone's probably had a big week. So thank you very much. And I will see you all at CanvasCon in the not too distant future. And I'll schedule in another session following CanvasCon.
Great. Well done, guys. See you there.
See you all there. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye.